Okay, a few minutes have passed. Still a little wet, a little tacky. So slowly I'm just adding the flour, getting it wet, keep going. And again, it's getting a little smoother. It's getting a little smoother. Slowly just add the flour. Again, since I'm going to be doing a cold rise, day and a half, I don't have to go crazy with this because most of the work is going to be done in the fridge. You know, it's almost like that no knead bread principle where you make it nice and wet and you let it rest and add the yeast, water and flour, and you let the yeast do its job, and the glutens develop over time, over 24 hours, 18 to 24 hours. And so same principle, but I do it in a controlled temperature. And the reason I do that is because here in Colorado we're in high altitude, and it really affects baking. Because of the low atmospheric pressure, the glutens, the bubbles start forming too quickly and they tear through the glutens. It doesn't allow the glutens to develop well. So you have to either use very, very little yeast. You can make adjustments on the water, or you can do a controlled temperature rise, which is what I do in the fridge. And that works for me. At low altitude, you may not have that problem. You know, you could probably do as they do in Italy and in Spain, in you know, bakeries or in France, where you know they have a proofing room. Tends to be a little warm, or just the right temperature, depending on the kind of bread that they're doing, and it rises the you know, over 8 hours, 6 hours is good enough. But I do a day and a half to 2 days, sometimes even 3 days. I've noticed that a day and a half to 2 days is the best. I get the best results. All right. Okay, at this point, the dough, I think I don't want to overwork it. I've noticed that when I overwork it and it gets hot, again, it starts rising too quickly. So I leave it, it's still nice and cool. I have a little bit of flour left still, but it's not too tacky anymore. It's just right. So at this point, what I do is I just ball it up nice, and it doesn't have to be as smooth as you would see normally. You know, they keep working until it's very, very smooth, the ball. It's smooth enough for me because, again, I'm gonna let it do most of the work in the fridge. So at this point, what I do is I let me move my idea here. At this point, I take my dough box and oh, good. I thought I forgot to clean it from last time. And just sprinkle a little flour in there. And what I do is I take the ball, and then I take a nice rag that I have here. Where's it at? Oh, here it is. And I wet this, not too wet, humid, nice and humid. Put it on top of the dough ball, and then cover it up and let it rest for 30 to 40 minutes. And then I cut the balls. So I'll be back. All right, so I wet the cloth here, not a rag, it's a cloth. And I cover it up, keeps it nice and cool. Nice and cool. And for me, again, I've seen it where people let it rest hours, you know, for the first rise. And then they do their balls and then they put them away. I do 30, 40 minutes, sometimes 20. And then I come and I cut up the balls to 250 grams. And then I just put them in the fridge. So then I let this rest. Be back in 30, 40 minutes. All right, so let me see, it's been probably 30-40 minutes since I left the dough rest. And so now I'm gonna cut the pizza balls. There it is. Yeah. So what I do is I take it out of the box. I actually spread a little bit of. I'm gonna get a little bit of flour. And pull it out of the box. And if you notice, it got smoother and it actually grew just a little bit, you know, since I kept the temperature low. Not a whole lot. Still a little tacky, which is what I want because I do that 65% hydration that I do. That's what gives me the best results. All right. And so what we want is about 250 gram balls, and lately I've been trying to eyeball it and make the balls about yes, let's see, like right there. And I could tell that one's going to be a little small. 216. I'm still practicing this technique there, and the reason I'm trying to get better at it is because it does, when you make it this way, if you can get the technique just right, there you go, 250, you get a nice sealed ball at the bottom, you know, and less chances of you know, you get a more uniform pizza ball when you get ready to make it. When you do that, you do it like this. So I've been practicing, trying to get better at it. You know, eyeball it. 231, getting better. There you go, 246, that's close enough. And then make sure you seal it nice and tight. And that'll make a nice uniform pizza ball. There's two. Let me see if I get the third one's the charm here. Let's see. No. I'm hitting the 230 mark. I think I'm getting better though. 255. You got 250. So that's going to be number 3. There you go. And one more. So I'll make 4 with that batch that I made of, I think it was 600 and something grams of flour. Makes me 4 pizza balls, not 5. Let's see. Ooh, 250. Right on. There you go. And so that one is nice and sealed already because I cut it off. And so I have one little extra piece. Usually what I do with this extra piece, I either make Giorgio a little pizza, my little boy, or I make a little flatbread to cool down the bricks on the fire, on the wood fired oven, or I make something small. There you go. So that's it. Then I go ahead and put them in my box. I have 4 four nice pizza balls. Sometimes I make them a lot more, but that's usually enough for us. And then I go ahead and cover it up, and it goes to the fridge. And this tray here, this pizza ball tray I bought, fits just right on in a home refrigerator. There you go, perfect. I usually put a little weight on it, create a nice seal. And then so today this is Friday night, and so this will be ready on Sunday afternoon. We'll make some pizza, and that's it. Peace out.